Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions back again with another video commentary. And today I want to talk to you guys about DRM, excessive DRM. And for those of you that don't know, DRM is digital rights management. They are the tools by which gaming corporations or gaming companies, usually publishers, but developers facilitate it. So I'm going to lump in developers here. So no, you apologists of your favorite developers that like to be like, oh, the developers are the ones that are friends. It's all the evil publishers. No, they put their names on it too. They're the ones that facilitate all this stuff. They're part of the problem just as much as the publishers are, decreeing that all these games have this excessive DRM. The tools by which these gaming corporations limit your access to their software. They limit what you can do with it. They try to put a spin on it, like they're protecting themselves from this phantom thing or that phantom thing. That doesn't really prevent them from becoming a multi-billion-dollar corporation, but really what it does is it limits your access to how you interact with a product that you buy. And it has gotten to the point where DRM has turned into you're no longer buying software. You are no longer buying a disc or a product from these people. What you are buying is a license to use their software in any way that they decree, any way that they decide you can, should, or would use their software. They are the ones that get to control how you use, interact, and when, and where, and why, and how. And that is, in a nutshell, DRM. And it is, I'm going to say this now, it's a blanket generalization, but it's the truth. All of you apologists, all of you people that want to stick your head in the sand and just be like, it's just a video game. DRM is contemptuous of consumers. It is little more than just a contemptive act by gaming publishers and developers. They have contempt for us. They say, no, you do not get to interact with our software the way you want, or this product that you buy, you do not get to interact with it that way. You do not get to use it any way you want. You do not get to do all these things. It's the same thing with Sony suing the guy that cracked their root code. And his defense was, well, wait a minute, I bought it. You're saying that even after I bought a Sony console, I cannot use it and do anything to it that I want. The physical console itself. This is the same principle, only applied now, especially in the case of SimCity, which is the most recent iteration of excessive DRM run amok. Digital software and digital downloads. We saw it with Diablo 3, and I was trying to lead the charge as best I could with a dead channel. I was trying to lead the charge against that. Diablo 3, again, always online, just like SimCity, which is a form of DRM because that's what it is. EA, just like Activision Blizzard, are trying to limit your interactions with the game. They are trying to make sure that you interact with it on their terms, when they want, where they want, and how they want you to interact with it. And long term, they get to tell you when to stop playing and when to buy the next one. That's the thing that not a lot of people talk about. But anyway, SimCity launched, not SimCity 3. SimCity launched, and it was an awful, disastrous launch week. Disaster, just straight up disaster. The always online component failed in that the EA servers were completely broken for a majority of the week, and there were a significant, if not a majority percentage of players, of paying customers that could not play their game because of the always online DRM. The servers were down, you can't play it. And that's a problem. And people need to stop apologizing. I'm saying this now, I bring this up because people need to stop apologizing for game developers and publishers. Developers and publishers are the same thing in this mind. I mean, we talked about it a little bit with Hutch on the Lefty show last week, and he was trying to keep that up, fly that flag of, well, the publishers are the evil ones, the developers are the all-right dudes. No. The developers do just as much. Until further notice, the developers and the publishers are on equal footing in terms of the ass-hattery that results in or manifests as DRM, in this case, always online DRM. People need to stop apologizing for these corporations. People need to not be okay with this. Always online DRM and DRM in any sense, when it gets to an excessive, contemptuous state, like it is with SimCity, like it was with Diablo, like it was with many Ubisoft games, that's not okay. And regardless of if you buy the game, if you play it, if you're a fan of the series or the franchise or the developers or the publishers or whomever, it is not okay. You should not be okay with it. And there's no amount of rationalization or apologizing that people can make that will make this okay. I know a lot of people want to say, oh, well, we're always online anyway. Everything has an internet connection now, so it's not really that big of a deal. That's on your end, though. The problem with always online DRM is that the publishers and the developers are now brought into the equation of answering the question, can you play your game? When can you play your game? How can you play your game? Now, if you're going online to interact with others in a multiplayer sense, okay, then they do have some say in that. And they do have to have a governing body. But in terms of a single player sense, in terms of software or a disc that you buy, they should have absolutely no say post-purchase how you interact with the game, when you interact with the game, and they should have no influence over that. It's not just about actually being able to facilitate being online. It's about giving the publishers plenipotentiary power that they shouldn't have. EA and Activision Blizzard and Ubisoft and all these other corporations should not have a say in when people play a single-player game. They should not have a say in how people play a single-player game, modding it, all that stuff. And what's more, I touched on it earlier, they should not get to dictate to you when you should stop playing your game that you bought to buy the next title, which is going to happen. SimCity, the SimCity servers, if they're up now, they're up and running, adding more servers, all more. The SimCity servers are going to go down again in the future. And they're going to go down, and they're going to stay down. When EA decides you are no longer playing SimCity, we have a new product for you to buy. That is the problem with always online DRM. It gives the developers say that they shouldn't even have at all. In the first place, they should not have influence in these decisions, in this decision-making process, in how people interact with the single-player components of their game. Now, a lot of people also like to say, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. People should have known that, number one, always online, even though if you go back and look at some of the press releases and stuff, the always online thing was kind of hidden. They said that there was an online component to SimCity, not that there was an always online component. And what's more, people like to say and rationalize and apologize for these corporations. They say, well, every game has launch problems or launch issues with servers and launch week, and people should have understood that the game was going to go down and it was going to be a bumpy ride in that first week or 2 weeks or maybe even a month if you go back to Diablo 3. If we assume that, and I will grant you that, I will stipulate to that effect. You know who also should have known that? EA and whoever, Maxis, the developer behind SimCity. They knew it as well. They should have known it, and they did, because I'm just a consumer. We're just consumers. We don't know dick about coding video games. If we are supposed to know that servers are going to have issues on launch week, shouldn't they, number one, definitely know that the servers are going to have issues? And number two, because of that, know specifically and without a shadow of a doubt that their consumers, their people that buy their game are not going to be able to play it for a week. They knew that, and they still went forward with it. The very fact that people should know that launch week games in launch week have issues makes the excessive and contemptive online DRM, always online DRM, even worse, not better. I'm reminded of a George Carlin bit. And he was talking about advertising, and we'll conveniently forget for the moment that he later in his career started pimping 1010 220 and doing commercials for them. He said whoever said let the buyer beware, caveat emptor. He at the end of a bit he said whoever said let the buyer beware was probably bleeding from the asshole. And he also, there was another bit that I'm reminded of, and this speaks specifically to the DRM and the oppressive always online DRM. And Carlin was talking about airport security in this sense, but I think it holds true here. Online DRM and excessive DRM is utterly pointless. It doesn't affect the change that it is supposed to affect. All it does is reduces your liberty and reminds you that they can fuck with you anytime they want. Anytime they want, as long as you put up with it. As long as you, the consumer, put up with it. they can fuck with you anytime they want. But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video. If you did enjoy, remember likes, favorites, comments, and shares via Facebook and Twitter do help me out. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I am out.